Andy, welcome to the show, sir.
Hey, thanks, Chris. Good to be with you.
What's the scene like in the swamp today on Inauguration Day?
It is not the swamp anymore. What it is Camp or Fort Washington, D.C. That's what it is. And so what you've got here is I don't know. You've got a military occupation of the nation's capital.
Now, hopefully, all those National Guard guys passed their background checks. That's what I'm worried about.
So you had 25,000 of them, and 12. They always vet them, and 12 of them were moved to different detail. So that's what you got. You got just a practically great. You got this great group of military folks there, and you've got yum-yums like Cohen from Tennessee and others in Congress saying, "Oh well, man, we're worried about them. They're armed, and they voted for Trump. They're armed." How demeaning, how childish and immature for them to make those statements.
I wonder if they actually asked them if they voted for Trump as part of the background check.
I think that they're primarily presuming that if you're in the military, you voted for a freedom-loving, Constitution-loving president.
So what are we and I don't expect much to happen today in relation to all of this fear. Someone told me that they were going to Wells Fargo yesterday, and they said they'd only let you have $100 because there was some perceived run on the bank because of Joe Biden's inauguration. It's been amazing, the fear-mongering right now.
Yeah, there is a lot of fear-mongering, and that's the right term for it, because the reports are, they've really stepped up a lot of defense and military, and they're trying to anticipate. But I'd be surprised if we have anything major or anything big happen in Washington, D.C. or frankly anywhere.
So what do we expect? I guess as the minority. Well, you're always you'll be in the minority party in the House, but in the entire Congress, what are we expecting coming out of I call it the Pandoras Box effects. I said this during the Obama administration. You're going to open up the box, and you never know what's going to come screaming out. So we already saw immigration. What else are we expecting right off the bat?
Well, right off the bat, they're going to rejoin the Paris Climate Accord. That'll kill jobs. They're going to cancel the Keystone Pipeline. That will make us energy dependent again. They have a $2 trillion bailout on the way that's filled with all kinds of goodies. They're going to stop student loan repayments. 2/3 of the people repay their loans, and a third don't, and so they're going to stop you don't have to pay those back. There's going to be a mask mandate, probably a vaccine mandate. By the way, on the immigration stuff, don't forget that they're nations that the Obama administration put on the terror watch list, and the president kept on that terror watch list. The Biden administration is going to remove some of those nations off the terror watch list so they can come into the country. That's kind of like your first. That's like day one. That's their initiative today and tomorrow to get that stuff going.
I can't wait for him to do a national mask mandate. That's a joke. Everyone, it's interesting. I think he said, we need 80% of the country to be wearing their masks, and we've already found out that 88% is wearing their masks and not doing anything. So I'm sure that'll all work out in the end, as they say.
Yeah.
We also have another immigrant caravan heading towards the southern border. What's he going to do with those folks?
Well, he's working with them. He's telling them, "Hey, I can't. It's going to take me a few days to get this thing in place, so you can just come in. So don't hurry. Give me some time to get this together." So what he's going to do is he's going to get rid of the Title 42 authority that Customs and Border Patrol has, which is just basically turn people back away who are coming in illegally. So he's going to get rid of that. And once that happens, you're going to get a surge like you had in 2019, except for this is going to be even bigger. So he's telling them to slow down a little bit, but never fear, because there are other caravans that are organizing. Cartels are advertising again. The NGOs are advertising again, and that's what you're getting.
I love when NGOs and cartels do advertising. Now, what about? I'm sure none of these people that he wants to come across the border have COVID, right?
Well, that of course is one of the problems. I mean, there's been stories out there that these people. I know this is going to shock you, that people that want to come and force their way into our country might be falsifying the test results on COVID tests that they're getting. Because I mean, you got Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico. They don't want these people coming into their country, coming through. Some from Guatemala, whatever. They're trying to keep them out because they don't know whether they have COVID or not, and so they're trying to get tests. And I don't know, but it's astounding to think that some of these people might be falsifying their test results.
I almost fell off my chair again. I did it about 15 minutes ago. I might do it again. Now, tell me about. So we have people that are listening to this show, and we know Republicans out there and independents who are not happy the way the election went, who are feeling probably a little bummed, a little despair. What's the Andy Biggs? What's the after game speech, coach, as we would say to the players that are feeling a little down right now? What needs to happen? What do they need to start doing again in the next over the next 24 months?
Well, you can't vacate the field. Is the first thing I would say. I mean, I get it. We're all depressed. We're not just depressed or frustrated or demoralized. We're angry. And I get those emotions that we have. But I can tell you that long time dealing with the left at international institutions when I used to do that, and state and federally now, I can tell you those people, they always turn their frustrations into action, and they have long-term plans, and we need to have our long-term plans. So what I would say is we need to encourage our state legislature to go ahead and finish getting that forensic independent audit that we wanted. Let's find out what happened for sure, no matter what. And then let's get the legislature to make and impose laws because they control the elections. We want the states to control the elections, but let's make that, not just in Arizona, but throughout the country, make sure that we could try to get some election integrity back in there so we all feel confident with the institution of the franchise. And that's step one. I mean, we've got to be doing that like today. Then the second thing is to make sure that as we delineate between those who don't agree with the platform. I mean, what President Trump did, he's going to step aside. I think he may try to keep some role going forward, but his policies were winners. The results of those policies were winners, and we've got to make sure that we put together a coalition. So the Freedom Caucus is working on this now. Nationwide, we're trying to put coalitions together with legislatures to get Freedom Caucus affiliates there who understand these principles, these policies are what can bring this country back to the full greatness that it is and restore our freedom. And the other thing is we need to make sure that the grassroots don't leave, because if you leave and you go somewhere else, I think you're going to be perpetually frustrated. And the infrastructure is there. We just have to take over that infrastructure within the Republican Party and make sure that it's run by people who understand that 74 million people voted for this president. And those 74 million people, they like the policies of President Donald Trump. And those policies are consistently American. They are consistent with the Constitution, and they are what make us a prosperous, free nation. They prepare us for conflict around the world. They give us better trade with around the world. They don't subject us to multilateral institutional globalists. These things are there. The infrastructure is in place. Don't ever forget that even though President Trump has left, we picked up seats in Congress. We picked up seats, and we kept legislatures. We kept governorships. It was a disaster at the very top level, but there is hope at all the other levels, which indicates to me that we can go forward, and if we can get the election integrity back, we have a chance to win this thing back.
So the president brought in a lot of energy and a lot of new people, a lot of PCs, and into the party that are, of course, amazingly pissed off right now. What does the party need to do to retain a good portion of them to stay on and keep the battle going? Because, when they see guys like Mitch McConnell walking around, that's when they want to start, going, re-registering his eyes and stuff like that. So what does the party need? What's the message? What does the party need to do to retain some of those people who came in with such energy?
Well, the first thing is we got to be transparent and honest and admit that we've got some people who were never Trumpers and prevented us from accomplishing the agenda that we really wanted to accomplish. That's the first step. The second thing is to understand that in Congress, what we're trying to do. So you have Liz Cheney, who is a bit of a problem for the president, and made some really outrageous claims, allegations, and statements before voting to impeach him. And she's a leader there. Well, we're trying to remove her. That's what we're trying to do in Congress: remove her and get somebody in who understands really where we need to be, that understands where the base is, understands where Republicans are. That's what I would say. They need to keep their eye on that. Don't take your eye off the ball. Don't give up, because if you give up and you vacate the field, then we don't have a chance at all.
Right, and the work needs to be done now.
Right.
Not don't wait until you get depressed and then you get back and then it's a year from now and you go, all right, maybe we need to get going now. We actually need to start doing the work now. And that's what the Democrats did the moment Trump got in office. They did all the off-the-field work, whether you may not like it. Some of it may not have been too ethical or legal, but however it worked out, they did all the work to get rid of this guy. And it started the day after he got elected.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's exactly right. Never forget that the day after he was elected, they announced their first impeachment, and that they already were trying to scuttle his transition. They were this went right up into the Obama-Biden. They were talking about how they would continue to basically run a sting operation on President-elect Trump, et cetera. All of that stuff is known. I mean, it's there. They did not stop. They had their marches. They had violent protests. We tried to have town halls, and they would come and disrupt those. The media is complicit in all this because they gave the left an absolute pass and actually helped them in their efforts. But we have to make sure that we're loud voices. We can never, violence can't be condoned. We don't condone violence, but we certainly say, speak up. Right. You can't go silent on this. This country is too great, too important to give up on that.